are back in the garage. Hope we won't be disturbed today. Yeah, if you are a returning viewer, you definitely know what happened the last time I was in the garage. But it's all good. It's part of the journey. So here we are, finally getting to sharing my interview day. And during that time, I did a little bit of vlogging. So I'm going to share some real time videos of that moment. They're very short videos, 1 minute, 50 seconds, just so you can get the real time feeling of what it was for me on that day. And if you are just watching me for the first time, I have been sharing about this journey, and you can go back to my old videos and start from there if you like, or if you're just interested in hearing about my interview experience, then yeah, this is the video where I'm sharing it all. A quick pause to watch these real-time videos that I took uh, during that time. Interview date is tomorrow, and I am listening to some Joel Austin messages because I am not I'm not gonna allow any negative thoughts. This process is done. God has already done it. God has already given me uncommon favor. And sometimes the enemy wants some doubts to creep in, but now we are not giving the enemy that room because this is already done, and I am enjoying some Joel Austin sermons. I know some people think, he just does do preach feel good messages. There are places for feel good messages. And when I need to feel good and I need some positive thoughts and positive energy, he's my go to person. So, yeah, tomorrow, this time tomorrow, I'll be heading to the embassy to be granted my green card visa. It can only be God. So this is my visa fee for tomorrow. My fee is $330. I couldn't get any small notes, so that's why I have $350. But I am here thinking, ooh, this is the money I'm going to be dealing with now from going forward. I'll be getting paid in this currency. Yeah. Interview today. For some reason, I am a bundle of nerves, so I'm trying to listen to some music just to calm me down because I need to walk in there confident. For God has not given me a spirit of fear, but a spirit of boldness and of sound mind. And what He started, He is ending it today by giving me my visa. So yeah, I refuse these nerves, this anxiousness. I refuse it in the name of Jesus because it is done. Yeah, see you later. So as you could see from my videos, um, I was confident, but I was nervous. The nervousness really sank in, especially on the interview day of all days. Can you believe that? Like the past days, I would think about it and get nervous for a bit, and then I'd be okay. I'd listen to some gospel music, I'd listen to some Joel Austin, and I'd pump myself and be confident that I'm gonna nail it. And yeah, and then towards the end, because I had put myself, it was January going into, and this was February by now. But from, every time you enter the new year, you just want to dedicate the rest of the year to the Lord. And I started my fasting from the 9th of January. And I was like, you know what? Let's not mess around. Sometimes something is yours, but the enemy can steal it from you if you're not careful. So I thought, you know what, I just need to dedicate this year and do some prayer and fasting. And so that's why I was already in that mood, even when the second notification came. Second notification letter came. I was already in that prayer and fasting mood. I was not praying and fasting every day, but I was doing a lot of that during that period. So that's why there was a lot of gospel music that I was listening to, and some Joel Austin, because he kind of helped to pump up my faith. Even when doubt tries to creep in, I would trash it. So uh, my interview was on a Friday. So what happened on that the week towards my interview, I was like, okay, I've already prayed. We've done all the prayer. Now it's just Thanksgiving. That's it. Just Thanksgiving, because it's already done. And on Thursday, the day before my interview, whew, I had a moment of thanksgiving that was deeper than the day that I even got my interview. I was like in that, I don't know, I was thanking, like really saying thank you. Um, Crying, not tears of sadness, no, tears of joy. Like I had tears of joy. I even fell to the ground and kunkulad. If you're if you're a Zambian, you know what that means. It's a it's a special way of saying thank you. And I was kunkulaling to God. Got on the floor, lay on the ground, and went like that and like that. That's how we say proper thank you. And in that moment, I was like, I just felt it that it's done. And I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was so excited. And I was like, oh, this is great. Tomorrow, I'm going to nail it. And went to bed and I couldn't sleep. Tried to force myself to sleep. I just couldn't sleep. 04 is when I finally fell asleep. And even then, I didn't sleep for so long. By 6:30, I was up, and my interview was at 10 in the morning. So I never got enough sleep, and I was upset about that. I don't know. It's like my mind was too alert. I just couldn't sleep. And then I didn't want to take any pills to help me sleep in case I oversleep and missed my interview. So I just let it be. And then when I woke up around 6, then I realized that I was shaking. I was shaking, I was nervous. I didn't understand it. I was like, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Why am I a bundle of nerves? I tried to listen to my usual gospel music on YouTube. Nothing. It's like it just kept bouncing, and it wasn't getting to me. I tried to put Joel Austin there so that his messages could soothe me. Nothing. Nothing. I tried to pray. I tried to get on my knees to pray, and I just couldn't. And I was like, what in the world? Like, why? But anyway, I went, I prepared myself, I bathed, I got into my clothes, still shaking, um, and looking at the time, like time was dragging, dragging, hey? And then finally, when it got to 9:30, because I don't live very far from where the embassy is. It's like uh, under 10 minutes drive to where the embassy is, and with no traffic. Yeah. So 9:30, I get into the car and I try talking to myself as I'm driving to the embassy. Calm down, Sandra, because I heard people saying when you go for your interview, you need to be confident, you need to be calm. Don't show nervousness. And I was worried that I was so nervous that I could make mistakes because I was nervous. Honestly, I had no reason to be nervous because I had told the truth. There was nothing in my DS 260 that was a lie. Nothing. There was a time my mom even said, Sandra, don't you think you should deactivate your social media accounts? What if they find something and use it against you? She had good reason to worry about that because someone close to us had their visa revoked, not the US visa, it was not the US visa. It was a different visa from another country. And well, they had given some false information and they discovered this person lied. And at the interview, she tried to maintain this lie that she was still working for this company. And the officers called the human resource manager in her presence, who confirmed that this person left the company ages ago. And so I told my mom, I was like, why would I deactivate my accounts? Have I lied about anything? Do I have a husband that I have hidden? Have I ever been married? No. Do I have kids? No. Did I not go to these schools? I did. Did I not do these courses? I did. Did I not work for these companies? I did. Do I have certain strong views that I've put on my social media accounts? I do not know. So I was like, Mom, there's nothing to worry about. So I'm not deactivating my accounts. I am that confident that there is nothing they will find on me. I know they have been investigating or they have nothing on me. So I'm not deactivating my accounts. And besides, I already put all my accounts in my DS260. They already have that information. I am a social media person. I love social media. I'm almost on all these platforms and I'm not deactivating them for anything. So I told my mom, don't worry. So I was a confident person, so I couldn't understand why on the actual day I was a bundle of nerves. Anyway, so I get to the interview, sorry, to the embassy. I was about 20 minutes early. And yeah, I waited outside for a bit. And then the security guys uh, asked me to get in and do my security checks. So I left my handbag, switched off my phone, and just carried some paper documents, a folder that I had with some papers that I thought, maybe they might ask for them, maybe they might ask for my old passports. And still, I had some verified copies of the things that they had returned to me. I just still carried the folder anyway. So I went in, I was allowed to go in with a folder and my purse, yeah, that had money and my ATM cards that I was allowed to take in. So that's how I passed through the security and started walking towards the visa interviewing place. I walked in and I found myself alone in that place. I thought I would find people being interviewed, but I had the place all to myself. There was just a guard there who directed me to go to the counter, and then a lovely Zambian lady came to welcome me, and yeah, because I had some of my old passports, she thought she had forgotten that she had collected my passport, so she asked me to hand over my passport, and I said, no, remember you took my passport last time. She was like, oh, but what about that? I was like, oh no, it's just my old passports. I didn't know, maybe they would be asked for, I don't know, I just carried them. She was like, oh, okay. Then she said, let's go and pay your fees. So we went to the counter where they have a cash machine. So because the visa fees are $330 and I couldn't manage to buy small notes. So I had $350. So I told her that I don't have change because I couldn't buy small notes. Do you have change? And she said, don't worry, we have change. We'll give you your change and we'll give you your $20 back and you can keep this $20 and buy yourself coffee or something at the airport. And I was in my heart, I was like, oh, is that a sign? I received it, Lord. It's a sign. So I started like feeling a little bit calm as she joked around, got the money, and then asked me to go and sit down and wait. I was still nervous, but not as nervous as before. So my throat was so dry, really dry, and thankfully there's a water dispenser in there. And I went and I got a cup and I started drinking some water as I sat there waiting, looking around this empty room and all these chairs, empty chairs. And I was wondering, wow, why have all these chairs if there are never any people in this place? Because I couldn't understand why. I thought no one goes there because every time, even when I was submitting my documents, I was the only one there. So I thought, do people even come here to apply for their visas? Why am I always the only one? Anyway, so I sat there waiting. I think I only waited for a few minutes, but it felt like the longest, I don't know, 5 minutes of my life. And then I heard the phone ring and the guard answered. He was sitting near the door. And I just felt that's, they're calling me. And I thought, I'm the only one here. Can't they just call Sandra, come here? So the guard put the phone down, walked to where I was, and told me they are ready for you. Go to counter 3. Hey, the moment had come. So I threw the little water that I had in the bin and started walking towards counter 3. And when I got there, honestly, I don't even remember if the consular officer. Oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to say this. Um, People that had gone to the embassy in the past, they would tell me that there are usually 3 people that do interviews, 2 ladies and 1 man. And I was told the man is tough. That chances are, if you find a man, he's not gonna give you a visa. Someone I personally know was denied by this man, and there was that kind of fear that if I find a man, I'm doomed. But I had to rebuke those thoughts. I said, you know what? If it's my time, whether I find a lady or I find a man, it doesn't matter. Even if he's tough or he's soft, I have uncommon favor. The moment I get there, I shall have uncommon favor and he shall give me my visa, no matter how tough he is. If it's my time, it's my time. So I walk to counter 3 and guess who I find? The man. Yes, the man. Whew. But he was not as scary as people made him sound. He had a smile on his face. I walked there and I think, did he ask me to put anyway, because I was still nervous in the few minutes or something. So I don't remember if he asked me first to put my fingers there. I think he did. Yeah, I put a few fingers there, and then that was it. I think he wanted to confirm that I'm who I say I am. And then he asked me to raise my right hand, and then I was busy raising my left hand. And then he goes, no, your right hand. And I'm still like raising my left hand. And then he smiled and he just showed me the hand and said, lift this hand. And then I was like, oh, sorry. And then I lifted my right hand and I repeated the words that he asked me to repeat, that I am telling nothing but the truth. So when we were done with that, he asked me, I see you've come for the diversity, you're a diversity lottery winner. And I was like, yes, I am. And then he goes, oh, okay. How many times did you play the diversity lottery? And I said, once. And then he goes, wow, only once? And I was like, yes, once. And he was busy on his computer typing and everything. Um, Obviously, they have this information already. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting that question because all the interview experiences I heard about, I never heard anyone being asked that question. Yeah. So then he goes, uh, are you married and do you have kids? And I go, no, I am not married and I do not have kids. Then he asked me what I do for a living, and I told him I worked for company A as an insurance sales agent. And he asked me if the company was an American company, and I said no, it wasn't an American company. It was a British company. So he was like, oh, okay. And then he asked me if I have a relative in the US, and I answered yes, I have a sister. And then he goes, how did your sister go to the US? That question kind of threw me off, but I already knew the answer to that. So I said, she went as a student. And then it was like, oh, okay. It threw me off because I never heard it in any being asked in some of the interview experiences I had listened to in the past. So that's why knowing everything about your host is very important. But because this was my sister, I knew everything about her, so it was very easy for me to answer this question. And then he said, "Are you going? I see your sister is in Florida. Is this a state that you're going to?" And I said, "Yes, that's where I am going." Uh, and then he goes, he mentioned the town in Florida, and then he says, "Well," he started also talking about he he's he started talking about the state of Florida, how beautiful it is, the weather, and everything. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know. I didn't know what to say, okay? Because I didn't know, should I also be chatty? Should I just stand here like a zombie watching him? But I felt like, oh, I need to interact with him as well. I shouldn't just be quiet. Of course, I mean, I was looking and smiling and nodding, and some of the things he said about Florida went over my head because I was just nervous and wondering, what are we doing here? We are being chatty. I never expect consular officers to be chatty. I thought they are scary people. So that kind of surprised me because he was so nice and friendly and just talking about nice things about Florida. And then I thought, okay, I need to say something about this. And I go, um, what about hurricanes? I've heard so much about hurricanes. And then he assured me that, not all places are like that. And he said something about the town where my sister is. I don't want to give the exact location. No, he just mentioned something about where my sister is and how they're a bit more prone to hurricanes and stuff, but it's not really as bad, and people get warned about these things. So I was like, oh, okay, that's nice to know. That's nice to know. And then he was busy typing on his computer, and then he asked me, have you ever lived outside Zambia? And I said, no, I've never lived outside Zambia. And then he took a pen and paper and he started writing, and he says, I'm approving your visa. And I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't want to jump up and down and be dramatic, but I was like, I need to show some kind of, I need to, yeah, I was excited. So I had to show it, but not too much. But yeah, he saw my excitement. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo. And I think he was saying some things as he wrote. Then when I got the piece of paper, because I was so excited, I didn't even hear what he was saying. I had to ask him again. I said, sorry, what did you say that I bring this paper when? He goes, bring it on Wednesday, because that was on a Friday. Bring it on Wednesday to come in when coming to collect your visa at 15 hours. And that's how I got my little piece of paper and walked out of there, went into the car, whew, and started screaming. Hello, hello, hello. Visa granted. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, what a nerve-wracking experience. But it's over. I have been granted my green card. And now I am counting down to when I will be leaving my country, Zambia, to go to my new home, America. I will talk about the interview experience later. Bye. I started counting down to when I would collect my passport because I was just told verbally I've been given a visa. And of course, I had my little paper, but I couldn't wait to get my passport in my immigration envelope. I knew about the immigration envelope because I was already watching videos, so I was aware that I'll be given an immigration envelope, a sealed envelope that I'm not supposed to open. So I was looking forward to being given these things. So I was counting down, and then Wednesday came, and then I went to the embassy um, a bit early, so I was one of the first people in the queue. And this time around, I found other people outside waiting to be let into the embassy. I'm sure they were all coming to collect their visas. So when they opened the doors and we went in, um, it's like the collection of passports. I don't know about other embassy, but I'm talking about the Zambian embassy. It's like the collection of passports happens where the security guard room is. There's a little counter there, and we were told go and line up there. So I was the first in line, and then there were many other people behind me. So I go to the counter, and I give this lady my little piece of paper. So I'm looking at the counter and I'm seeing there are a lot of passports, and I'm saying, but where's the envelope? I'm not seeing the immigration envelope there. So now she's busy checking passports, front, yeah, checking, and then she goes, "What's your name again?" I tell her, and then she goes, "I'm not seeing your passport." Whew. But I was confident. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. My passport is here somewhere. And then she goes, "Give me your paper again." I give it to her. And then she goes, "What type of a visa is this?" I was like, "It's a diversity visa." And then she's go, "Oh, diversity visa." Then she picks up the phone and calls someone inside. "Oh, I have a Sandra, blah, 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 diversity visa, blah, blah, blah." And then she goes, "Oh, okay, okay." Then she puts the phone down and she says, "You have to go inside uh, to get your passport." So that's how I left the queue, went through security because now I was getting inside. The same place that where my interview had taken place, that's where I was told to go. So I left my handbag, switched off my phone and everything, and then went to that room, and I found the same lovely Zambian lady waiting for me by the counter. And she gave me back my original documents, all the original documents that I had presented, my birth certificate, academic papers. No, she didn't give me back the police report. She gave me back everything except for the police report that they kept, the I-134 that they kept, yeah, but otherwise everything else she gave it back to me. She gave me back my passport with my visa, and she gave me an immigration envelope. And then she told me, "Do not open this envelope, present it to the immigration officer at the port of entry." And then she opened the passport, showed me my visa, and she told me, she pointed at the date and said, "This visa is valid until this date. You have to leave Zambia before the 23rd of July or it's going to expire." All right. Then she gave me a piece of paper with instructions on how I am going to pay my immigration fee. So she had highlighted the instructions and the numbers that I'm supposed to enter when I go onto this website and pay for my immigration fee so that my green card could be sent to me. And she advised me to make these payments before I leave Zambia. And she said, congratulations. And yeah, that's how I walked out of the embassy with my visa in my passport and my immigration envelope. Before then, I was telling people I might take 2 months to be in the country. And after I had that, I was like, screw 2 months, I am leaving in the next 2 weeks. And I just told my sisters, my siblings, put your monies together and get me a ticket. And they tried to argue, Sandra, 2 weeks is not enough for you to get rid of things, because now I could start selling my things. Because before you get the visa, they advise you that don't sell your things. But I was like, I don't care if 2 weeks is not enough. If it means I leave these things, I will leave them behind. I just want to come and start my new life. And yeah, that's my interview story. I will probably share not probably, I will share a story of how my journey now leaving Zambia and coming here, and other videos as well of how I've been adjusting, how I got my green card, what I did to get my social security card. There's still stories to share, and I'll also be sharing other people's interview experiences, but only when they come here in the US. Right now, they're still waiting to attend their interviews, and I know they're going to nail their interviews. So, yeah, keep watching these videos, keep following this channel. So, it's not only my story that I'm going to share, I'm going to be sharing other people's stories. But for now, I'll just be sharing how I'm settling in the US, everything, work, cultural shock, whatever. I'll be sharing it all here. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for following. And please like my video. Please subscribe and share this video with your friends and family members that are also interested in the DV lottery. Okay, bye.